Welcome to episode 30 of Meet the GIMP. My name is Rolf Steinert and I'm recording this in Bremen, northern Germany. In the last show I showed you something about drawing tools, and somehow the Apply Jitter button was lost. I remember doing that stuff, but well, it must have fallen from the table during editing. Let me show you what this jitter button is about. When I paint some lines here, you see it has a smooth corner and well, looks like done with a felt pen or so. And now I apply jitter. Let's set this to, let's say, around half or so, and you see the paintbrush jitters a bit, and the border is not that even as it has been before. And let's take more jitter here, and now you see you have a cloud of dots here which are well, distributed around the line I have drawn. And well, that's the secret of the jitter button. There's another correction to be made. Hansen wrote here, the eraser tool has one important difference from the pen or brush. To see it in action, simply paint something on a foreground layer with transparency, with the alpha channel on. A pen or brush will, with the background color selected, will paint in that color, but the eraser will remove the color, turning it transparent. Okay, let's try that. And well, this is my foreground color, background color, and you see here this is bold, so here the alpha channel is not in the image. I'll switch on the alpha channel in a moment. So let's just take the eraser. Well, haha, here we are. Yes, I have here foreground and background color. Let me pick this here. You see, I press Control and click and get this as a background color. So here, this works as a background, as painting with the background color. And now let me switch here the alpha channel, right click and add alpha channel. You see it's not boldface anymore, and now I switch again to the eraser, and you see I erase foreground and background. Okay, and now I'll tell you more about paintbrushes, the brushes you can select. I'll mention sometimes the holidays. Well, this show too was recorded in November and was planned for the time around Christmas. Let's talk about brushes in this holiday edition of Meet the GIMP. And brushes are used for quite a lot of tools, starting with the pencil, and I think ending with the dodge and burn tool. All these between use a brush, except for the ink here. And I again take the paintbrush as an example. You select brushes either by clicking here on the brushes dialog, or in the toolbox here, the paintbrush, you can just click on this brush here. You see here the standard set of brushes. There are small signs around here. The plus shows that the brush is not as small as shown here. When I click on that, I see here now the brush enlarged. Here is another thing. This with the red triangle is image hose or animated brush. It consists out of several images here, which are painted one after the other. Let's do this here. Sorry. You see, it's a bit like pencil drawing, and this is called pencil sketch. The blue ones are parametric brushes. They are basically a mathematical model, which I'll show you a bit later. And then there are the standard brushes, these here. Here the black part is filled with the foreground color. In this case it's black. The white part in this standard brushes is not changed. So I can paint here with this here. What is black in this small image will be red in my painting, and what's white will stay as the background is at the moment. You see it here. There are some others here. This nice thing, this pepper, is a color brush. I can just put a pepper in here and even draw a line of these peppers. Well, I could make something to eat in the near future. And this is quite funny, but well, not very useful with the pepper, but there you can do your own brushes, and there it can be very useful. A very nice thing is this combined color, image hues, and magnified brush. This is the vine, and you can draw here just a line of vines. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? For a card or so, just a little decoration. Let's look at the strange brush here in the front, clipboard. For that I just draw a little thingy here. Well, I should use black and white or so. Well, you know definitely why I am not a graphics designer. So, and now I select this square area here and just copy this with Ctrl and C into the clipboard. I could have used here edit, copy, or go into here and right click, copy, edit, copy. You know this. And now I select again my paintbrush here, and I select the foreground, the clipboard, and you see here I have... Why isn't this working? Ah, you know why it isn't working? I'm not working in the selection. First I have... Now I could only paint here because this area is selected and this area isn't selected, and I have first Ctrl Shift A, and now I can paint. You see here my little flower pops up, and I can even draw a line of little flowers, which is not very good because each flower was overlaid by the other, and here the background is copied as well. But this is quite nice when you just copy a little bit of an image, and you can even feather the edges and have a soft edge, and so pop something into the image where you want to have it. Imagine perhaps your logo, or just getting a face stamped in a crude way on some persons or so. Well, a lot of possibilities. When I open the brushes page here, I can modify a bit about these brushes. First thing here is spacing, and I still have my clipboard brush selected. When I go to 100 and a little bit with the spacing, now I can draw my line of lovely flowers. You see them here. Another thing I can change here is I can make a new brush. Just clicking on this here, and well, this is a read-only brush. This was editing. This was editing a brush. I can get a new brush. Let me pull this in. I can select a shape, either a circle, a square, or a diamond. I can change the radius. Let's take the diamond. I can change the radius. I can say how much spikes I want to have. This looks nice. I can change the hardness of this star. You see here, it gets softer or harder. I can change with this one here the aspect ratio. I don't know what's happening really there, but well, just look. I can change the angle, not angel, angle of this here, just tilting it a bit or so, and I can change the spacing, the standard spacing that is used. And with this little star, let's just go up and say 200 or so. Now I'm finished with this and call it star. And now you see here there is an additional brush, the star brush. And selecting it, get this one here, and now I only have to fill this up with black. Select gold as a color, go back to here. I hope I have, yeah, well, the star is still there, and now I'm getting a lot of jitter and getting some stars here. Well, the jitter is quite a lot. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? This was a very quick and dirty new brush. I can edit it on the fly here. Just change the angle a bit, turning it, and now I can use it here. And here I have a different angle. So this works quite well. You can do your own mathematically defined brushes this way. The second way. The first one was just to copy something into the clipboard. Do you wonder where I get all this knowledge about the GIMP? Well, of course I'm a genius, and well, I'm looking things up. I pointed you to the very good book by Akana Peck some episodes ago. We'll link it again. And I have already pointed you to the GIMP manual, and it is really great. Just pull this up a bit to get the screen full of it. So here you have everything you can imagine about using brushes and the different stuff in the brushes, and so very highly recommended, the GIMP manual. And somewhere here is the way to well, here is the way to the content and you see it here. It's docs.gimp.org en index HTML, or you can go there from the front page of GIMP. I'll make a link into it into the show notes. The last thing I want to show you is to get brushes from the net, and that is done by simply searching for GIMP brushes or looking around. And I have here one example I like. It's on DeviantArt by Ictina, or I don't know how to pronounce that. The link will be again in the show notes. Here is the available brushes Ictina has made, and I just download them by selecting here, download, and waiting, nothing happens. Well, here it is. And I save them to disk. Well, now I have them, and I'll install them in a moment. But first, let's look at this brushes and so on. Here, these are licensed under the Creative Commons license, and I am not allowed to do derivative works with this, so I am not allowed to take these brushes and change them and put them on the web again, but I may use them and do work with them and give them away, and I could even publish them on my website, and with attribution to Ictina and the original link. When you look here, you see there is a real path to GIMP brushes, and there are a lot on DeviantArt and on other resources, the resource sites in the web. This is one of the newest here, a popular brush from 24 hours. Let's take a month, 1 month, and you see now there are a lot of different brushes, and well, let's take here Stardust and Twinkles. Oh no, this here. This is quite shocking. Knux Spike Brush Pack by Knux57. Should Knux57 be of the same birth year than me? Well, there is no license information here, but I think she or he will be not very mad about me getting this here. I put a link onto the show notes, and I just download this here too. Here I am with the folder opened, GIMP 2.4 brushes, and here you already see star.vbr. VBR, I don't know the V. GBR are the standard brushes from the GIMP. Oh well, let's look that up later. Here is Ictinia's. Okay, here are the brushes from that website, and I open this with my archive tool, and here you see there's a watercolors JPEG and a lot of other files, and also in README. So let me just select them all and pull them over into the brush directory. Here they are, and let me do the same with Knux Spike Brush Pack. Open with Archive Manager, and all you see here GBR files, GIMP brush files, and just pull them over here. Oh well, you haven't seen them all here. Too bad. Well, they are all here. I just close my archive manager and I close this one here and get back up the GIMP. Now nothing has changed here, but I can select this here, reload brushes, and now you see there has a lot happened. I have a lot more brushes, and these here are the one from Isotania. It's noted there, and I can let's try them here. This is just like a bit of watercolor. Oh, well, I should select a color from the watercolor box here. Looks really a bit like watercolor drawn. This is for stamping them, not for drawing them. This, oh well, with a lot of jitter in it. If you draw this, it is quite boring. So, these brushes here are well, for something like faking a watercolor, or if you have a well, we're here on photographic side, if you want to build a frame around something or so, can be quite nice. And now let's look at these next spike thingies. Whoa, they are big. Let me first get rid of the white stuff. So, now again. Let's look at the next brushes here. I haven't them seen before. Let's try this. I think it's again a thing for stamping. Well, yes, of course. And they're quite different, and when I paint with them it's not that nice, but when I increase the spacing, it can be spacing up and opacity down. Now first fill this again up with white. This, well, if you need a border around something or so, it can be quite nice. But I think these brushes are made for real graphic artists, and so quite nice, but I think not that useful for photographers. But perhaps you'll find a way to use them. I think I have covered a lot of things about the brushes. Perhaps I'll cover making an animated brush or image hose and making these color brushes in another small edition. Well, I just have to say goodbye to next week and the next holiday edition, fresh out of the tin can, made in November, and well, goodbye.
Photocastnetwork.com, your photography resource in the potosphere. Photocastnetwork.com